Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Saurabh Shatdal, Managing Director, Capital Markets and Head, Retail India, to kindly share a few words about the report.
Would you put the report here as well? Yeah, thank you. So welcome everyone, and like Pushpaji said, this is MahaKumbh of retail. So let's this will go forward, right? Thank you. So what we will talk about today, we releasing this report called Premiumization of India's retail sector, part of what Pushpa spoke about, the various things which is happening in retail. Okay. So the bigger picture, if you talk about, is the biggest opportunity we have as a country is the demographic dividend. And what do you mean? We are the youngest economy. If you see India, we are the youngest major economy in the world, and closest to us from an age perspective is Indonesia, which we'll catch in the next 8 to 10 years. So that, I think, is a very, very important and bigger aspect of where we are as a consumption economy. Now you see on the second part is because of the dividend of the age, what was earlier the growth, the people on this similar sector of the income, and how the market or the age factor will move the people from the destitute and aspiration to start with seekers, and how people are moving towards the rich class. And that is where we see, if you see the percentage, which is currently around 58% of the total population is in the destitute and aspiration, will go to around 24% in the next 10 to 15 years. And where we are moving is from a 5% premium and the richer class will move towards 17 to 20% in the next 10 to 15 years. And these are the two very important pillars on which we are basing our theory and basing that what will happen in the next 10 to 15 years, right? Now with that, moving the next step, setting up the pillars of what we think. If you see now the categories, especially the pre-COVID categories and the post-COVID, what you see on the left and the right? What we have done is we have taken a sample size of around 3,400 leasing deals between 2017 to 2024 across the top eight cities which we generally very strongly working with. So if you see what we are seeing as a trend, that what was more of aspirational retail is all growing, from where it was and where it is now. And essential is going down, right, from what they used to command earlier and where they are now. So this trend we see becoming more, and the ones which are growing, which is more aspirational, indulgence, and lifestyle. Lifestyle will remain the same or a little bit up and down. But what we are seeing majorly is indulgence and aspirational going forward. And if you see on the other side, right-hand side, what we are also adding is, if you see from the global average, what is the growth in India, in all these retail category, the CAGR in India, we will beat the global growth of the CAGR. So this is also, the research which has been recently done, and basis that we are giving a view that, with the dividend, with people becoming richer, the indulgence and aspirational class growing from what used to be, and the retail category, premium category CAGR is growing. So this is all showing us a trend and giving us a perspective of why we are talking about that more premium spaces would be required for people to consume. So, so basically what we are saying is Indian consumer are going to spend more, are going to consume more. And on like we said, on the luxury spas, travels, electric vehicles, so all these are all aspirational products which they will bring into their life on a daily basis. Now coming to malls, because we are talking about the, putting premium spaces within the mall and how the mall consumption will grow on the premium spaces. If you see the data here, which is fairly, what shows there on this. So what we are talking about, so on the superior grade malls, if you see their vacancy has been in very low single digit, and this is generally what, as per our data, these are around 60 malls in the top 8 cities and around 39-40 million square foot of gross leasing area, which are part of the superior mall. And the mall which are grade A malls in the same city is around 62 million square foot of a grade A mall. So we have done differentiation, and generally these differentiation is particularly, it's a single ownership or not, is it at least 80, 85, 90% leased. So those are some pillars which we have kept to make sure that they are part of the superior mall, and the ones which are not single owned or not leased to the level, we are keeping them as a grade A malls. So keeping that in mind, this is where we see that superior grade malls which are going to attract better brand, going to give better experience to the clients who will come in, or the people, consumers, they would be able to get a better value. So if you see on the right hand side, on the superior mall which we spoke about, where you see the very low single digit vacancy, you see the growth between 2019 to 14 or more so post COVID. If you see in the last 3 years, more or less, 3.5 years, rents have grown by around 24% from what it was as an average. And obviously there will be malls who are up and down on that. So that is what we are trying to portray here, that the brands who will come in on the premium space, they will give you more rental purely because that's where they want to be. And because you have a very low vacancy and you are giving that experience to consumers, the chances of you getting better rent is much higher compared to some other malls in the same city. Now we talk about supply. So obviously, as you all know, last year, which is just concluded last year, 2024, the supply has been fairly very low. It's a 0.9 million. It's kind of a one mall which came up. But for 2025, we are expecting around 7.7 million square foot of grade A mall coming to India. And out of that 7.7 million, or let's say 8 million square foot, around 80% of that 8 million square foot, as per our category, is falling under superior malls. That is what it is going to come in there. So that's a big picture. What we are seeing now as a trend, as developers, as owners, or institutions who are getting into malls, they are also understanding this trend very well, and they are putting money where they can get better rentals and better value for their investment. And again, 2026, currently we expect around 4.5-5 million square foot of grade A supply coming in. And so between those 2 years, we are talking about 11.5-12 million square foot of supply coming in, which is actually, if you see from roughly around 2020 to 2024, that's the more or less the supply which came in. So what came in the last 4.5, 5 years, we are expecting that kind of a supply coming between this year and next year, and 80% of that supply will be in the superior category, what we spoke about. Again, taking the same story forward, what we are seeing from a growth perspective, pre-COVID years and the recent years, last 1 or 2 years, what was the growth of some of the, earlier style of in the malls like your hypermarkets or fashions or FECs, they will either go down or remain where they are. And the growth categories, as we spoke about, would be beauty, wellness, F&B, athleisure, and jewelry. These are the 4-5 categories which I think you heard Pushpa also talking about as we move forward, would be the ones which will come in, and they will also get a high trading density because of their premium offerings, what they are coming in. So because of their premium offerings, their revenue, it gets you better rental, or if you are on the revenue share, whichever ways they're doing it. Yeah. And then 2 aspects before, prior to commencement of the mall and post commencement of the mall, it's quite, detailed there. And what we speak about, the bigger picture, pre-start of the mall is research, very important. Like we discussed, which city, in that city where you are, what's the, demographic there. Depending on that, you build your strategy of the mall on that. And then obviously, once you have done the research well, then you would look at, do I do a luxury mall or a premium mall or a lifestyle mall, value mall, depending on where you are. So those are very important for the success of your mall. And then some of the stuff of, on your mall design, optimal size and mall management, so on and so forth. And once you become operational, what we talk about is because when the customer starts coming in, like we spoke about, the digitization, the AI, the experience, what you provide to the consumer there, periodic, keeping the mall alive, doing a lot of live events. So those will keep going on, but because you are shifting towards the premium spaces within the mall, within the store, a lot of activity, how you are engaging people rather than just keeping the store the way it is, how you are actively changing the store, how you are bringing in fresh ideas into the store so you get the same clients coming back to you, is what will entail you to keep your mall running well. That's it from us. Thank you.